We're going to record the recap of the crude oil here for the day, the crude oil trades. Now, something happened earlier. I don't know what this is. Unfortunately, I just got to deal with it. I don't know. But we start trading it on the crude oil 540 every day, 545 my time on this chart. And again, I don't know what these extensions are. I got to check eventually on it. I don't worry that much about it. We use our chart here for demo purposes, and you can trade off it, but just ignore these extent. I don't know what's causing that. I got to look into it one of these days. But we missed. Well, technically, it happened at 546, so it is a legitimate trade here. We had a, let's see if that's a level one. Oh, I see. This is like a level one with the crossover. They crossed back over. This would not be taken because this is a first trade after level one move, and plus it was on Globex, so it's. But then they come back and match color and move lower. Again, this is a Globex. I'm just trying to determine. This is a. So this would be with the matching DTBs and the crossover. This would be a level one. So this would be a legitimate level two trade here. You get the crossover, which causes, you can see the blue dot, so we know that a crossover arrow came in right here. You can see the arrow right here. So this is a second level trade. So when the market goes back on the downside with the red candles, first thing you do is you wait for a new sell candle, which is this one here. You watch the ticks count down, and as soon as that all the ticks count down, they form a new candle. You ask yourself, are the price pressure bands open? Yes, they are. And then the only next question is, and you can do that right after this candle closes, and while they're developing, you can start asking that. Price pressure bands are open. Are there successive lower moves, because we're in a sell channel, our candles moving lower, and the price pressure bands pointing downwards? Duh. But you'd be surprised how many traders miss that. It's very simple. And then you ask the final question, it's so simple, is are the dynamic trend bands in one of three conditions? Are they crossed under? In this case, see the dynamic trend bands here crossing under to the downside. Are they within two ticks of crossing under? Like here they're over, but here it's like two ticks spread before they cross over. That's fine. Or are they matching color? Well, they've been matching color since way up here. So when you get in this second level trade, you take the first pullback of the signal line and you grab 10 ticks, and that's it. We're just looking for 10 ticks. I say 8 to 10 because a lot of times they'll go and tap 8 ticks twice and something's stuck in the market. Just grab the 8 ticks and don't worry about it. And a lot of them will run. We know that the market will always run a little more substantially with the crude oil. This is a third level trade, and we don't take third level trades. So we got 10 ticks on that. That was our first winning trade setup of the day for 10 ticks. So this was a pretty extensive move. So now we come over to here. But keep in mind the dynamic trend bands have already crossed over. This isn't like a straight down move and the dynamic trend bands are all on the sell side and then they cross over. You're going to get whipsaw there. But here they've already crossed over and now they're matching colors. So you take that first pullback to the signal line because the price pressure bands are open. You got on this candle, you got both dynamic trend bands matching. So you take a pullback to signal line at 55.12 and 55.12 shoots up right here to 24. That's the second 10 tick winning trade. Then you watch the markets and you observe that, oh, the price pressure bands are open. You got a new sell channel coming in. You can barely see the candle, but we're going to get that fixed. You got the price pressure bands opening on the sell candle, so you wait for that to close by counting down the ticks. See how they're counting down? 2, 16, 15, 13, 6. They fast or slow, they count down. It's now 6:34. The U.S. market is open. And same thing, the price pressure bands are, well, we got to have the dynamic trend bands in one of those conditions, either within 2 ticks of crossing over, crossed over, or matching color. Well, we have matching color. So here's your short right here at 55.06, which drops down to 54.98.99. It's just 8 ticks. So you wait. You don't get out, you just wait. And 55.06 jumps up to 55.12, no big deal. But you are watching the rim of the trade channel for your first initial mental stop. You don't get out there, it's just a mental stop, just observing. And the next band, which there really isn't anything above it, so you would watch like the price pressure band or something. You just watch them above this, see if they hold this. And it gets a little nerve wracking up here, but you're still holding, no big loss or anything. You're short at 55.06.07, and then they start coming down, and then now they're down in this candle down to 05 or 07. Right here is 10 ticks, and then this next candle moves a little lower, so there's 10 ticks on that trade. It's the third winning trade in a row. Market sells off a little more. Now notice here, this was after the second level trade. It wasn't such an extended move, but nonetheless, you technically on a big move, one of the rules is to avoid trying to take the first turnaround, wait for the second one, because a lot of times there's going to be some very violent whipsaw in many cases. Not always. Like this trade ended up panning out. There we see how the spread here is a good place to show you how the spread works. As long as they're within their matching color, crossed over, or within 2 ticks of the spread, you put your cursor up here, 81 to 79, that's 2 ticks. So right on this candle, I think it might have been 3 ticks, 81. It's 2 ticks here. Technically, that would have been okay to take that trade, except that there was such a strong sell-off. So you just wait for the second level trade. This made a counter move. There's the arrow. So this is now an official second level trade. We've ignored this first one because of the steep downside move. Here's a second level trade, and as soon as the arrow closes, you just take the first pullback buy dot, which is right here at 93, and they go up to 10 ticks. That's the fourth winning trade in a row so far today. And they come over here, price pressure bands open, but there's no trade here. One thing to watch on these type of deals is a really flat dynamic trend band. Market's kind of whipsawing around, and they're matching color here. Before we had the matching color down here, but remember they came all the way from up here and slid down here. So this could have been taken, but it's not really correct because you got a fat channel that's formed from all this sell-off. So you got to just be real cautious here when they do form with a flat dynamic trend band. See, if I put my cursor up there, there's no question that that's completely flat. So you got to be careful with that. Don't be too anxious to trade. Just watch and wait and see what happens. Now also, today was the crude oil report, so we don't trade usually like 10 to 15 minutes before or after. You don't want to set up a trade that's going to roll into that report, because today it was really bullish, and that's why they just hiked the market to the moon here. So what you want to do is anytime you're getting close to that, like see here, you're about 15 minutes from the report. Today, because the market was a holiday on Monday, so today's Thursday, the report will come out at 8 o'clock my time. Just want to stand aside during this whole period. Now the report's coming out, and they absolutely go nuts. Whipsawing around here. And now, again, it's the reports all coming out right here. You're not taking any of these trades till at least like 8, 10 or more. You want to give it plenty of time to find its place and let, who cares, let it fly around. Give it 10 minutes to just kind of get, get through all its stuff. But what you got here, and don't trade something like this. This is not a sell here. Just leave it alone. Just wait for a complete crystal clear. Because look, there's no open dynamic trend band. There's no open price pressure bands. These are all flat and discombobulated. You want a trade. Every one of them should be just like this one, where, okay, so now you got a new buy candle for a new buy channel. And look, you got successive candles moving up, and most of all, you got the, if you put it right up here, you can see you got the price pressure bands are moving, they're sloping upward. So you got successive candles coming off of sloping up price pressure bands. You've got a matching dynamic trend bands right here. They're within 2 ticks of crossing over as of this candle. Right here they're matching and matching color and crossing over. So your buy is at 33 and 33 runs up to 48 for 10 ticks. So that's the 5th winning trade in a row there. There's no second level trade so far that has occurred because they didn't create a counter sell arrow. There's some red candles, but you don't have a counter red arrow, so it doesn't really count. And that's where we are now. It's almost 9 o'clock my time, about 20 minutes. You can trade the crude oil up to around my time on this chart, around 10:30 or so. So there's still time to get more crude oil setups. But so far today, that shows 5 of them coming into 8:42 on my chart. Chicago time, that's 10:42, and New York, it's 11:42. 8, 9, 10, yeah, 11, 3 hours in New York.